Good afternoon. I'm State Senator Marilyn Moore, and we've just completed an informational hearing on the cliffs and working on the 2Gen project in Connecticut. And we've heard from many people who have been impacted, but I want you to hear from today Shanae Fulton, who's from Middletown. I want her to give you a little bit of just a glimpse of what she's said today and how the cliffs has impacted her life. Shanae.
Today I was able to shed some light on a little bit of my story. I'm originally from New York, and I came here to Connecticut about 11 years ago. I came here with one child. I was a single mom, and I began to reside with my ex, who I now have another child with. And I went through the whole ordeal of not having care for kids, not being able to qualify for SNAP benefits, Husky. There were times when I would qualify, times when I didn't qualify. His salary is being factored into mine. And then we went through a lot of trauma. We had domestic violence. It started out, throughout the course of a relationship, but I think the most impactful time was during 2013. And we went through that ordeal, and he was removed from the home, and I still could not obtain any of the state benefits because his salary, although he was not in the home, was still being calculated into all of my benefits. And then I found myself homeless. Throughout the course of me being homeless, I could not obtain other benefits. Then I would get them again. Then I had to work multiple positions across the state within Meriden, Trumbull, wherever I could find work. I would work 2 to 3 jobs. I would have to lean on friends, whoever I had in the area. I'd have to drive all the way down into New York State, where I'm originally from, to get child care assistance, and then drive all the way back up to Connecticut just for work. And that was going on for the course of about 3 or 4 years. Eventually, I found myself living in a shelter, and then I went from the shelter, and I was able to obtain transitional housing, which I currently still reside in, and I continue to be met with every obstacle along the way. I still cannot obtain any benefits. Currently, I have a better job. I started out with the school district, and I've been promoting along the way, and I still can't obtain anything, although I have a little bit of a higher salary, but the hours are cut short tremendously.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you so much.
So, I would love to say that this is a unique story, but it's not. It's one of many that we hear all the time. As the chair of Human Services, we hear these stories and the testimonies of people who are struggling, who don't want to be dependent on the public system, but there is not something in place that really helps them grow out of it. So today we had philanthropy talk, commissioners from Office of Early Childhood and Department of Social Service. We had parents who all come together to talk about what's going on, people from the business community. It is all of us working together to try to address this place where people get to this top of this mountain and it looks like they're getting ready to fall over, right? The mountain, because they're making just a little bit, and it's more than what the system will allow them to do. And sometimes it's not even long-term increase in pay. Sometimes it's a short term, and they get kicked off of all their services, and they have to go through the process all over again. We've got some policy recommendations. We're looking at what it costs the system, but in the long term, it would make our families successful and will take more people out of the system that would be able to move forward and have productive lives. And not create the trauma and stress that comes along with not having housing, not being able to find a job, not being able to find someone who's reputable to take care of your child. And we're hoping that in this session we can come up with a policy that supports people who are at that point called the cliff, the top of the mountain, that they don't fall over or they don't slide back down. So again, thank you. And I also want to thank all the people who participated today. It was an informational session on the cliffs.